Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to come back real quick for a little bit of clarification. Earlier, I made a post detailing the rejection of an application for volunteering for a Goldsboro inner city school. Now, I didn't make that post for any sympathy or for any outrage or anything. I made that post to make a very important point that we have individuals who sits on these boards, and they sit in these rooms and they make policies and they make decisions regarding these children's lives that they have no connection with whatsoever. Many of these people don't even stay in the city limits where these inner city kids have to live. And of course, a lot of them may be there just for, as we call it, the bag. Case in point, the man that you see on the screen was Dr. David A. Lewis, the superintendent of Goldsboro Wayne County Public Schools. And also he is the one who is responsible for denying my application to volunteer at that school. Now, because I wanted to see, who this guy was, I looked him up on the Board of Education site, but they didn't have his picture, so I had to Google his name. And when I Googled his name, the first article that came up from the Mount Olive Tribune was this one right here, which says, Lewis announces his retirement from Wayne County Public Schools. Now look at Mr. Lewis right there, and he looks about to be a gentleman in his 60s or thereafter. Now, once again, my point was, what kind of connection does this 60-year-old man have with the inner city child to make him, be able to tell someone like myself with the connection with those children that, I'm not qualified to be around them or in their lives. And Mr. once again, I called the board and I asked them, told them who I was and told them the situation. And I said, who can I talk to about this application that is being rejected? And they told me Dr. Mason and again, Dr. Lewis. And I chuckled. I said, oh, you mean Dr. Lewis, who is retiring in March? And she said, yeah. So, and I chuckled to let her know that, that the hypocrisy of it all, that this man can come in, and I think he's only served for 2 years. He can come in, make decisions that's going to affect these kids throughout their elementary, grade school, and high school years, and just move on and ride off into the sunset with no, with no connection, with no concern of what happens. But he's able to deny me before he leaves and goes on his way. So that is my problem with the system that we have in place. And, Mr. Lewis is just one part of the machine. Learning this about him caused me to look up some of the other board members. And once again, I was able to see many of them as well. And I'm going to show you a picture of Mr. Don Christopher West. I don't know why my phone keeps turning around, but that is Don Christopher West right there. And I think it says he stays in Pikeville, which is outside of the inner school city limits. The next gentleman, I think his name is Mr. Fouch. Hold on, I can get it right there. Okay, yeah. I think that is Craig Fouch. Once again, he stays in LaGrange, which is outside of the city limits. The next one, I think, is Mr. Lynn Henderson. Once again, he stays in Dudley, which is outside of the city limits. The next one, I think his name is Wade Leatham, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's Wade Leatham. He stays on Tanya Drive, which is in my parents' neighborhood, which is not too close to the inner city. And next we have Pat Burden. I think she stays on King Drive. And shout out to Pat Burden, Patricia Burden. I think she's been on the school board and very active in the community for a long time. And, I definitely want to give her flowers. I've heard a lot about her. I haven't seen her. And then we have this guy, Tommy, I think his name, Tommy Sanders III. Now, he doesn't even look happy, to be a school board member. So then we have, I think, Mrs. Jennifer Strickland. At least she has a smile on her face. But all of these people, if you look at them, it doesn't seem that they would have too much connection with people in their inner city. I doubt probably any one of them have been to a home in the projects, have been to court to advocate for a parent of a student who's, incarcerated and looking to get out and needs someone to speak up for them. I doubt they have any of those experiences. And I'm all for education, and I'm pretty sure that all 6 of these people are educated, and even with the doctors, Dr. Lewis and Dr. Mason. However, there are some things that education is not going to prepare you for. You can do all the case studies, you can do all the dissertations, but until you get out there in the field, none of that matters. It's just like a soldier. He can go through all the basic training, do all the drills and everything like that, but until he gets out on that field and tasted that battle, and hear those bullets whizzing, it is only then that he's going to know what to do. So that is my, once again, concern with these people who we have making laws that are affecting or setting policies that are affecting these young children. Like I said, I doubt probably any of these children have ever seen any of these people. And once again, I know that they're there for their job. They have a check. They have a job to do. So, maybe they don't have the passion that I have for these children. But just the mere fact that we have these people, and most of them, once again, are in their probably 50s, 60s, maybe even their 70s. So what kind of connection do they really have? And in Mr. The Dr. Lewis, I dare not call him Mr. because you know how people are with doctorates. They don't want you to call him Mr. They definitely want to acknowledge you to acknowledge that. But Dr. Lewis even said, once again that, I've been here for 2 years and the public school is very much on a stable financial ground and our schools are moving in a positive direction. The first thing he mentioned was finances. He didn't mention academics. So, that once again questions his loyalty to the students' learning. Once again, he's only been there for 2 years and he's already gone off to chase, once again, probably another bag. So that is the point that I was trying to make in the video, that we have these people with no connections with the children, maybe even, no interest in their well-being, especially in the inner cities, who are making these decisions and once again preventing people like myself from impacting lives. As I mentioned in the other video, there's not a lot of positive male influences in the school system as it is, and so it kind of it's kind of hypocritical to deny someone who is interested. Now, I'm not asking for a check. I'm just asking for an opportunity to help those. But I thank everybody who reached out to me, to thank the lady that told me to call. So they did tell me to call, and I can set up a hearing. And and once again, like I said, who are you? Like, why do I have to ask you? What qualifies you as to be the ruling voice on what happens to children I know personally? How I can interact with them personally, that I know these children. I actually and this is a side note, but this is once again the thing my daughter just told me, and she called me and said that the movie The Hate You Give and other Maya Angelou books and things like that have been banned in the state of Virginia. So why can't African American children learn about things that have affected them or their ancestors? That movie, I know everybody heard of the movie The Hate You Give, and I heard it was so good, but they said they banned the book in Virginia. So this is what we are dealing with when we're dealing with individuals who are not really concerned about the welfare or the education of a certain group of children and what they need to know. But shout out once again to all of those who reached out and gave me some avenues. And once again, I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. I just want people to know that some of these people who are making decisions for our children don't have their best interests at heart. Like I said, I think one of the one lady told me the principal's name, Marion Ree, who has 2 DWIs, and I think he's at the Carver Heights or the Dillon. But that's one more thing that once again is being able to be overlooked on his behalf. But if I just want to volunteer and spend 30 minutes reading for a child at lunch, I have to go jump through all these hoops and go through all these meetings with a guy who's already said just today that he is retiring. But I have to go through him to be able to go to a school that is less than a mile away from my house to talk to children who live a mile away from my house. That is the problem. So, once again, I thank you guys for listening. Y'all, can kind of chime in or whatever, share the video, whatever you like to do. But I thank y'all for listening, and just consider the point, that I'm really trying to make, that these people that we are entrusting with the future in the policy setting and things, they really don't have an interest. As we see, this guy's been here for 2 years and he's already leaving. So, that says a lot about his commitment to this community. But thank you guys. God bless y'all. You have a blessed year and day. All that good stuff.